Welcome back. So I'm still on my quest to simplify and make bell hooks easier to apply. Specifically, this book all about love, New Visions, bell hooks. So she gave a definition, and I'm going to show you the process of how I break it down to bite-sized pieces and understand it better. So the quote is, to truly love, we have to mix many ingredients. So this gives us an image of a person, a chef, cooking love, right? We have to mix many ingredients. Their care, affection, recognition, respect, commitment, and trust, as well as honest and open communication. So I'm going to show you, I'm just taking one of the ingredient, care. And how would I define care? Because to get that ingredient, as she said earlier in the chapter, you have to be able to define what it is, right? Otherwise, you'll be looking for the wrong stuff. It's like going to buy flour and you buy whole wheat when you're trying to buy white or whatever going on. So the first step I usually do is I can think to myself, what do I think care means, right? Give people stuff, that's caring. All right, but then I try to make it more concrete. So the first thing I'll do is check a dictionary, any one of your choice. So I'm doing Merriam-Webster because I claim this is coming from an American point of view, so I'm not going to do Oxford. So here's the idiomatic phrase, the meaning, take care, and this is a noun, to give particular attention to doing or not doing something. So I can see how that's applicable to love. When you love and you're caring for someone, you are careful to do what they ask you and careful to avoid doing the things that would harm them. You're careful to do the things that build them up and avoid the things that don't. Care, now care as a verb, they say care is to feel trouble or anxiety. Of course, we know when we care for people, we do not try to make them feel trouble or anxiety. We try to alleviate that. So sometimes, we do the opposite, right? Another definition of care is to feel interest or concern. When you care about something or someone, you're interested in their well-being. You're concerned about it. You focus on them. You pay them attention. If your mind wanders like it does, because minds are made to wander, as they say in mindfulness, you bring it back to the people you're interested in. And to give care, that's an easy one to see. You take care of someone when they're sick, you give them soup, you run a bath, you put a cold compress on their head, you sing to them if you have a good voice, you read to them. If they like hearing, you ramble. And then care is a noun, to have a liking, fondness, or taste. So care, I care for some Devon House ice cream. To have an inclination, I would care for some Devon House lobster patty. Thinking of Jamaica, yeah. All right, Devon House is in Jamaica. Moving along. So the first thing I said when I'm trying to find a meaning, I think to myself, what do I think the word mean? And I go into a dictionary and I say, what do the people in the dictionary think the word means? But I know that meanings vary from context to context. So there's a second step. I check the meaning based on applicable subject areas that I am trained in. So some subject areas that I'm trained in is Christian theology, based in Western philosophy, as well as social sciences like criminal justice and social work. So I try to find meanings that I am qualified to expound on. So let me talk about care in terms of religion and Western philosophy. Care of souls. Care of souls then, and I'm quoting from MacNeil, care of souls then is the healing treatment of persons in those matters that reach beyond the requirement of physical life, in the pursuit of health of personality. But the welfare of the soul was not isolated. Caring for the healing of the soul, mind, and body have often been integrated. This is a psychologist saying that. You can't care for somebody's spirit, like where some of these modern religious people do. They want you to go to heaven, but they want your life on earth to be hell. No, you have to care about people. You have to care about their souls, yes, but their mind right now, their bodies right now, the food they eat, you're wishing them heaven, but you're making sure they feel like hell right now. Thus, continuing to read, thus, when we speak today of, quote, the care of the whole person, we're speaking of something comparable to the ancient idea of care of soul. So that's Western ideas. And now we have psychology, Rollo May, which I already quoted. And this is a quote from Rollo May. Care is regarded as the capacity to feel something matters. When we care about someone, we're saying, you matter to me. When we care about ourselves, we say, I matter to me. Care is regarded as the capacity to feel that something matters, is born in the same act as the infant. If the child is not cared for by its parent, it withers away both biologically and psychologically. Care of self, psychologically, precedes care of the other, for care gains its power from the sense of pain. But pain begins with one's own experience of it. If we do not care for ourselves, we're hurt, burned, injured. So the point he's making here is a longer point. It's you have to care for yourself first, because that's how you truly learn how to care, to give a deep quality of care, by caring for yourself first and then caring for others. Otherwise, you're walking around wounded, and what you think is care is not really care. So the first thing I did was a dictionary definition. Second thing I did, to use my training to see other meanings for the word. The third thing I do is get cultural. And in this respect, because this channel is about blackness, I black it up and give it context. So the first place I go when I'm blacking it up is to go to Africa. And here's a philosophy from Africa. So it's Ubuntu, a term originating from the Nguni Bantu languages of southern Africa. It's more than just a word. It's a philosophical concept that encapsulates the essence of humanity and communalism. The term is often translated as, quote, I am because we are, emphasizing the interconnectedness and interdependence of individuals within a community. And that person was Iwuso. Yeah, I'm botching up African people name. Sorry, love you. The philosophy of Ubuntu highlights the belief that an individual's identity and sense of self are deeply rooted in their relationships with others and their contribution to the collective well-being of the community. So this is the African, Southern African, but seen in many places in Africa, the sense of we belong to each other. Community cares about not just self and interpersonal, but meso, right? Community level. And this is a part where that's the back work that I do privately. I don't draw somebody into all of that. That's for my own building up and my intellectual growth. Then I come to the fourth part. So the first, I check a dictionary. The second, I check meanings from my professional qualification. The third, I make it culturally relevant to me. And sorry, in that third, I can also add, I also check diasporic culture. So for example, the simple act of Black people taking lotion, excess lotion from their hands and putting it on another Black person, that is care. That is me saying, I'm moisturized, I want you moisturized too, right? You matter to me. And then here's the fourth step, I personalize it. This is when you're doing it with yourself and with somebody else. I ask myself, what makes me feel cared for? What makes you feel cared for? How can I care for you without hurting myself or hurting you? Because you cannot care for somebody at your expense. If somebody's not safe to care for, don't care for them. If you have to hurt yourself to care for somebody, cut that off. Then the fifth thing and last thing, I try to figure out, what are the barriers? This is the cutoff point. Like, is this person healthy and safe to invest in? Am I healthy and safe to invest in? And I think through the barriers. So I hope that was helpful. It may have gone on longer than I wanted to, but tell me what you think. Thanks for listening.